Hey everybody, welcome back. So in my previous video just before this one that I made 6 days ago, I made a video teaching you how to trade options gamma like a professional. And if you didn't watch that video, please go take a quick view of that, but it's really important. So I wanted to quickly review the trade and just show you how that trade played out. So in that video, I'll summarize it as quickly as possible. The market was trading, this was on July 2nd, so the market opened on July 6th. It was a shortened week. So on July 2nd, basically I had said that this was a very significant level based upon this liquidity right here on SBUX. And what I did was I reviewed using this website, Trading Volatility. I reviewed the options exposure that the market maker has on SBUX. Now, if you don't understand what gamma is, I'm going to do a very, very quick take on it right now so you do understand it. The crib notes on gamma is that gamma is the risk that the market makers in the options market have on any particular underlying. And you can see that when we went back and we looked at it 5 days ago, that the 115 strikes on SBUX suggested that the market maker could have got squeezed higher, meaning that he was overly exposed on gamma risk, and that if SBUX started trading higher, that he would have to go into the underlying to cover all the calls that he had written. Okay, now it's kind of complicated, and it's important that you watch the video before. But what gamma risk is how much exposure does the market maker have, and why it's important is because in certain cases when the market maker is overly exposed to the calls that he's written, he will be forced to stay delta neutral and hedge those positions. So it can create a squeeze on the stock, driving prices higher. Okay, really important, really important. And you could see here that at the time when we did the video, there was a tremendous amount of 115, 116, and 114 calls. Now it's since equaled out, and you can see that more put open interest came in, but at the time there was still significant exposure at 115. So please watch that video before. Okay, so we structured a trade where I suggested that you buy the 115 puts and you buy the 117 calls. All right, because there was a high probability that we were going to squeeze a lot higher and even take out the liquidity level at the all-time highs on SBUX. So that was our trade structure on Monday, right? On Tuesday, sorry. It was a long weekend. Now what happened was we bought the... Okay, so I suggested we buy the July 9th 115 puts for 80 cents, and we buy the July 9 calls, 117 calls, sorry, 117 calls for 20 cents. Okay, now what actually happened was whenever I put a hedge trade on like this, the idea is to try to get to a free ticket. So I really believe that the market maker was going to be able to defend that gamma risk at 115, but immediately on Monday we drove higher. So they ended up all of that gamma exposure at 115 at the time, right? It's still there. All this gamma exposure forced the market maker to cover by buying more stock in the open market to stay delta neutral, to reduce this massive amount of risk that he had to buy more stock in the open market, and that contributed significantly to the stock driving higher, right? Now, what actually happened was these July 9, 117 calls went as high as 80 cents. So you could have made 4x on your money. Now, what I will usually do in these situations is I will try to get the one side off the hedge, and what I'll try to do is when the calls went to 75 cents, which they did, or 55 cents, which is a double plus 10 cents, I will take the trade off, because that basically leaves me with the open puts as a lottery ticket. Does that make sense? So I knew that there was the possibility of the gamma squeeze, which is why we put the calls on. And once the trade became a free trade, so in other words, really quickly, if you bought let's say you wanted to risk $1,000 on this trade, so you would have bought $500 worth of the July 9 117 calls for 20 cents. You would have bought $500 of the July 9 115 puts for 80 cents. Now what happened was the July 9 calls actually went as high as $1,300 in profit. So what I will usually do in these situations, depending on the context, is that I'll take this trade off. So if I make $1,100 on the trade, the puts are relatively a free ride, and especially because it happens so quick. You can see Monday and Tuesday just boom on, and I believe it was like a really short period of time. If we look on Tuesday intraday, yeah, so you can see that here's Monday and here's Tuesday. So within the first 20-30 minutes, that trade, my calls went to 1,000 and worth $1,100. So my total risk on the trade was 1,000. So when I was able to close the trade and guarantee a $100 profit so quickly, because it happened so fast, and that way the puts become a free ride. Now, even if you didn't do that, even if you just held the trade right to close, you can see here, here's those calls at 4 o'clock on Monday. Sorry, it was around 3:30 on Monday. Those calls, which you paid 20 cents for, were still worth 60 cents. You could have got out at 55. So you would definitely not have lost money either way if you would have put on the trade. And we structured this entire trade, please watch the previous video, based upon the understanding of how options market makers must adjust to gamma risk. And that, folks, is how you trade like a professional. Love you all. I'm going to do another video right after this one on a new trade idea for this week. If you like this video, please remember to smash the like button and please comment. Bye for now.